What are you hungry for? It's a question that I've been thinking about for most of my life. When most people hear that question, they immediately think about food. I do too. But I also think about all the things we spend our lives chasing: better health, more security, a dream we put off, a relationship, a second chance. The more I've thought about it, the more I've come to believe that almost everything worth pursuing begins with hunger. I'm born hungry. Welcome. This is the hunger log for today. This morning, I joined Weight Watchers again for the umpteenth millionth time. It's funny because it doesn't really feel like I'm starting something new. It feels like I'm coming home. I was a kid on Weight Watchers. Back then, there were no apps, no barcode scanners, no points. We had little food booklets that told us what we were able to eat for the day. You were given a certain number of servings from each food group, like 5 protein, 2 dairy, 5 fruit, bread, fat, very little fat. And then there were vegetables that, for the most part, you could eat freely. Looking back, that was a fascinating idea. The program was restrictive in some ways, but surprisingly generous in others. What I remember most, though, weren't the rules. I remember the meetings. They weren't held in fancy storefronts. They were held in church basements and community centers. The person leading the meeting wasn't called a coach or a leader. They were called the lecturer. We'd weigh in. They'd embarrass you when you didn't lose weight, and they congratulated you when you did. And then we sat down and we listened and we learned. And I got to be honest, I loved it. I didn't love dieting. I didn't love the fact that I was a kid on a diet, that I needed to be on a diet. I loved trying to understand why it worked, why this food was limited, why that food wasn't, why certain vegetables were encouraged while other foods had to be measured so carefully. Like you had to take a measuring cup and be perfect. Those questions fascinated me. I don't think those questions ever left me. As I got older, nutrition kept changing. Every decade seemed to bring a new way of thinking about food: calories, fat, low fat, carbohydrates, sugar, protein, fiber. Every few years, there was another promise that this was finally the answer. My understanding changed with all the time change. Sometimes I embraced new ideas. Sometimes I questioned them. Sometimes I discovered that old ideas still had something to teach me. But through it all, I never stopped asking the same questions. What actually works? Not for a month, not until vacation, not until life gets stressful. What works for a lifetime? That's one of the reasons I joined Weight Watchers again today. Not because I think it has all the answers, and certainly not because I have all the answers. I joined because I'm curious. I want to experience it again through the eyes of 61-year-old me. I want to see what's changed, what has stayed the same, and what a lifetime of thinking about food has taught me in return. That's what the Hunger Log is about. Not a series about finding the perfect diet. There is none. It's about asking better questions. I'll share my victories. I'll share my setbacks. I'll share the moments that surprise me and the moments that humble me. Most of all, I'll share what I'm learning, because I don't think hunger is something we're supposed to eliminate. I think the challenge is learning what deserves our hunger. So today, it's not the beginning of my story. It's simply the next entry. I'm Gary. I'm born hungry. I'll see you in the next hunger log.